In today's video, I want to highlight something very interesting said by The Last of Us Part 2 co-game director, as he is hinting at PlayStation 5's complete removal of loading screens. We'll go over everything that was said by him. Also, Chunsoft's hiring a UI designer for a PS4 and PC adventure game, and there are some pretty interesting requirements attached to that. We'll go over that. Remedy would be really good at making an RPG. That's what a Control developer believes, adding that Northlight engine has evolved to support less linear experiences. And Medievil's short-lived demo has been expanded and re-released on the PlayStation Store ahead of Christmas, so you can check that out for free right now if you have yet to pick up Medieval. We'll talk that at the end of this video, but first up, The Last of Us Part 2 co-game director hints at PlayStation 5's removal of loading screens. We've been talking about the PlayStation 5 quite a bit, but here's something interesting. We do know that the console is going to be featuring a solid-state drive, a shift from the typical mechanical hard drives that the consoles have been featuring in the past, and it seems like some PlayStation 5 games, if not all, will do away with loading screens entirely. On his Twitter profile, The Last of Us Part 2 co-game director Kurt Maraganiu, my apologies if I butchered his name, commented on load screens, sarcastically asking what load screens people are talking about. He was specifically asked, quote, if in our current timeline it was traditional that game loading screens contained weird development trivia or complaints or whatever instead of game lore hints, what would be on your loading screens? And Kurt just responded, what's a loading screen? We've known for quite some time that the PlayStation 5 console will have extremely fast load times. Again, that's going to be supported by the solid state drive, and they even compared with Marvel's Spider-Man by Insomniac loading the game in just 0.8 seconds as opposed to the 8.10 seconds needed to load the game on the PlayStation 4 Pro. That's the Pro, not the base console, so that is a considerable improvement, but the Pro does of course utilize a mechanical hard drive, so there is a shift in that regard. There is still a lot we don't know about the PS5 specs. Earlier this year, it's been confirmed that the CPU will be based on the 3rd generation of AMD's Ryzen line, and that the PlayStation 5 GPU is also going to support ray tracing. As far as absolute specifics, again, still a little bit of a mystery as far as that's concerned. There was also a recent report from Restera Forums member Klee GameFan who noted that the PlayStation 5 is ahead of the Xbox Series X in terms of game performance, noting right now game performance is better on PS5. I believe that is probably because PS5 development hardware and software are in more of an advanced state. I fully expect Scarlett to close the gap once they ship more mature dev kits and software. It must be said, since software, not hardware, is a traditional Microsoft area of expertise, it's very possible that they could ultimately deliver more advanced DirectX development software, in the end allowing games to run better on Scarlett even if the hardware is less capable. That would be a rather interesting turn of events and a real huge coup for Microsoft if they could offer a weaker platform as far as hardware goes, but just because of their software design and engineering, they would be offering the better looking games and the better performing games. We'll see how ultimately everything comes together in the next few months and going into 2020, because initially a lot of those games are going to look at a certain level. They're going to look really good. They're going to look better than they looked on the PS4, of course, but really we're going to see the brilliant looking games a year, 2 years, 3 years into the life cycle when people really start to figure out how to utilize the entirety of the power. But even in the case of the PlayStation 4, you remember with Killzone Shadowfall, you can still go back to that game and consider it to be one of the best looking games of this generation, but unfortunately it was a little bit more of a graphical tech demo than anything. Nonetheless, going back to the original point, the idea of completely removing load screens on the PlayStation 5 would be a rather remarkable feat. To have a completely seamless experience without any kind of load screens would be incredible. Of course, there are games that feature artificial load screens, whether it be using an elevator to load in things for the next stage or whatever the case may be. There are some games that have found a workaround for load screens and have kind of created these fake load screens, but that would be rather cool to see and a legitimate step forward. Alright, moving on from that, Chunsoft is hiring a UI designer for PlayStation 4 and a PC adventure game. Applicants must like Danganronpa. Now, is this pointing towards a new Danganronpa or a new game in the similar vein? Chunsoft has posted a job listing on Workport seeking a UI designer to work on an adventure game for PlayStation 4 and PC. One of the required job qualifications is someone who likes the Danganronpa series. The other requirements are that the applicant has professional communication skills as well as experience in UI creation for a console title or equivalent PC or browser title. While it is possible that the game in question is a brand new Danganronpa title, there's also an equally high chance that they're hiring for Chunsoft's newly announced dark fantasy-esque mystery title from Danganronpa series creator Kazutaka Kodaka and 2Core Games. We'll keep you guys pointed on that, but Chunsoft has quickly become one of my favorite developers in all of gaming, and if you're into story-driven titles, they have delivered some really high-quality ones. And by the way, Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reloaded, part of the holiday sale that is going on right now. You can get both of those games in the Reloaded collection for $20, and I would highly recommend that. Alright, moving on from that, Remedy is noted to be really good at making an RPG. That's at least what a Control developer believes, and he's also added some other information. In a recent Q&A on Restera, Control senior game designer Sergei Mohov was asked which genre he would pick when working on a new game. Interestingly, it would be an RPG, which is a step away from what Remedy has worked on the past. He noted, quote, "I would personally pick an RPG. First of all, I'm a huge RPG fan. I grew up playing Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, Fallout 2, Neverwinter Nights, and I bring them up in design meetings regularly, but I also think that Remedy would be really good at it. Think about it, we're all about building detailed, weird worlds, populating them with compelling characters, and then telling a story through gameplay. It seems like an excellent starting point for an RPG game." I would love to see an RPG created by Remedy. Obviously, Remedy is very good at creating compelling stories, although with a game like Control, I did think it was a little bit off the rails, but I still found it rather interesting and rather engaging. Quite a few times is the fact that Control had really strong gameplay, so I am interested in seeing if Remedy could parlay that great gameplay into some sort of RPG. Obviously, in an RPG, the gameplay probably would be a little bit different, but nonetheless, I do think it would work out rather good. Also, generally speaking, Remedy games have a tendency to look really good, and he talked a little bit about the engine Northlight. Northlight is an amazing engine when it comes to graphical capabilities. Control with RTX looks amazing, and Northlight does it swimmingly. On the other hand, Northlight was made with linear, straightforward games in mind. Level loading, light baking, AI handling are awesome if the game is linear and the level designers know what and when it happens. It gets a little bit more complicated in an open environment game where you don't know where the player goes, what they see, or what they're gonna do while they're there. So we had to work around a lot of these engine mores in order to get the game to a playable state. Of course, being an in-house engine, it evolves with the game, and by the end of production, we had a way better engine ready to support less linear experiences, so that would also parlay in creating a RPG experience, because you would think that a Remedy RPG would be a lot less linear than a game like Quantum Break, Alan Wake, or even Control, and Control was a little bit more open than the aforementioned games, but ultimately, it is more of a linear-focused experience. Alright, and lastly, I do want to note that Medieval short-lived demo experience has been expanded and re-released on the PlayStation Store. Following September's State of Play, a short-lived demo for Medieval was released by Other Ocean Interactive and Sony Interactive Entertainment, and of course, it was only available for a little bit of time, but now it has come back. Sony unveiled a new version of the demo today on the PlayStation blog, claiming to have brought it back in the spirit of PlayStation's 25th anniversary. The demo has been expanded as well, and now lasts all the way through the Graveyard and Hilltop Mausoleum areas until the fight with the Stained Glass Demon. The re-release of the short-lived demo also means that Sir Dawn's helmet, the special item players are rewarded for completing the demo, can be obtained once more by those who missed it the first time around. The blog also delves into how Other Ocean Interactive recreated Dan's model for the Medieval remake, and is worth a glance if behind-the-scenes development is your cup of tea. Again, the free demo is available right now, and Medieval is on sale as a part of the PlayStation Holiday Sale. I believe it's down to $20.09, so not a steep discount, but I already thought that the $30 base price was rather good. If this was a game that was released at $40, $50, or $60, I think people wouldn't have liked it as much, and even from a critical reception, it's not like Medieval was received super well. However, ultimately, I do think the game was a fun, nostalgic experience, and if you did have fun with Medieval back in the day, if it's a game that is from your childhood or you played it years ago, whatever the case may be, I do think the remake is something that is very much worth playing. At the very least, check out the short-lived demo and make your decision from there. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, The Last of Us Part 2 co-game director is hinting at the PlayStation 5's complete removal of loading screens. Chunsoft is hiring a UI designer for a PS4 and PC adventure game, and applicants must like Danganronpa. That's rather interesting. Remedy is said to be really good at making an RPG, or at least that idea. That's coming from Control's senior game designer Sergei Mohov. And Medieval's short-lived demo has been expanded and re-released on the PlayStation Store. Check that out right now. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.